Yes.
We're gathering our things.
Oh,
Gathering,
this is for- okay.
gathering. I like giving you things to look at while we're waiting, while we're getting all our gathering together. Miss Joyce is organizing too.
I am.
Here she is. Say hi, Joyce.
Hello, welcome to Quilt Beginnings live.
We're getting ourselves organized.
Can I use?
Organization classes on how to organize. Oh, I see Katie. There she is. You never get to see the face behind the camera.
Here we are.
There's the face behind the camera.
Hello.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Oh, you're giving it to me. I thought you were just saying hello. Hi.
I made that too.
There we go.
All right. It's Tuesday. We're almost to hump day.
Yeah, it's like, here we are, second day of the week, we're almost hump day.
Yeah. It's terrific Tuesday here.
Terrific Tuesday.
Yes.
So the day is over today, but tomorrow, for those of you that have elastic waiting, we should by after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. L's working on.
Yes.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lana.
Yes.
We have our L's working on pulling off yards and yards and yards and yards and yards and yards of elastic. So we have enough for everybody, which is very exciting. So it should get back in the building. Hopefully we'll get a big grouping of elastic tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And then today, we're going to talk about the dragon glass, which is this quilt here.
Ooh.
And what's cool about this quilt is it's exactly what we did yesterday. It's the exact same block. But the big difference is that the color organization is really, really different. So if you look at what we did yesterday, it's right down here, Katie. What we did yesterday was we created our 7-inch blocks, and then it takes 4 blocks, here are my 4 blocks, to actually stitch into a single. So you can see the unit right here. When you're only using 2 colors, it's really obvious how pieces go together and how you can alternate, and you can rearrange your shapes and orientations to get different looks. But this is the actual unit that we want to make using 4 blocks. This is everything that's up here is the K faucet, which we love. And I just wanted to show you that these, let me just pull these up. We have these layer cakes of the K faucet, so they're really beautiful and they are sorted by color. So all the K's blues are in a pack. Blues and purples are absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see. I'll just fold back some. They're really saturated and beautiful.
Actually, a lot of what Libby used in her quilt, we used
Yeah, a lot of Libby used the more saturated ones. And then there's a green version that has all different greens. And then this one is the rainbow version. It actually, I don't know if you can see on the side, but it's got all the colors, yellow, orange, green. This would be a really nice one for this project. And then I opened up a red version, which is here. So, the biggest challenge with this quilt is the blocks are going to make exactly the same as they did yesterday. So we're going to use the same cutter, we're going to start with a 7.5-inch square. We're going to do the same arc, leaving that 1/2 inch on our 2 sides, same trimming down to 6.5 inches. The biggest trick is how do you organize all these fabrics, because if you look at this quilt, so here's my block, but each block unit has a different 4 corners. A lot trickier to
Why
get
don't you
yourself organized.
lay that up there so they can kind of see how
Oh,
it,
I like that, Joyce.
Yep.
Teacher Joyce is coming out. Here we go. I love you, Teacher Joyce. Thank you. So here is one block hanging out in the middle. Stay up there.
So that's, so 4 pieces make 1 clamshell,
I knew that was gonna
right?
happen.
It's all that great quilting on there, that's why.
Yes, let me just pin these so they don't fall all off.
You're transforming Kafe into something completely
right.
different up there.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like
Modern
cake at
look.
all. One more.
Has a pin in it.
Yeah, this pen needs to be pinned. It's not my flannel wall. Thank you.
Watch the pin.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. There we go. So you can see that this unit is starting this one. This unit is finishing this one. This one is from here, and this one is here. So if you try to lay out all your pieces and put them all over your floor and then try and pick them all up and try and keep them all in order,
It's a no-go.
you'll lose. And I am not not that forward thinking, and I don't like going up and down off of my floor as much. So what I would prefer to do is think about it as a row at a time. So if you just think about this top row, I just need to designate 4 colors for my top row. And then once I choose the top row, that's going to help set my tone for what I do below it. So let's say my top row, I want these 4 colors. And these are really homogeneous, so you can see if I put a bunch of these together, the quilt is going to be very muddy. Not muddy, the pattern's not going to pop out at you. And I think with this particular project, you're doing a lot of work with the curved piecing, so I would want my blocks to be more distinct. This is good where if you want something that's got a nice, just overall, it just feels all kind of reads as one big fabric, but I think with this fabric it's more fun to mix up colors. So I would probably take a second set. These have 42 squares in them, and to do this quilt you need 64. So you're going to need 2 packs anyway if you're going to start with a layer cake. So I would start with a second set, and then what I would probably do is I'm going to just pull a few out and show you how it will change dramatically the look of this quilt if I just take every other one. And I wouldn't have to do every other one, but that's what I'm going to do for right now. And I'm going to turn them into blue.
Look how pretty that is.
I know it changes.
Already
it
pops.
instantly.
Yes.
Already changes it.
Kay Blair and Kay Pope both want this to be a class.
I know.
yeah.
Actually, it was a class. I think Libby Daughter, you were doing this as a class.
I'm not sure, but she should if she's
She
the
will.
lesson.
We will. We will.
Right, Libby?
Classes will be in our future,
are.
again, one day.
Yes, not in the month of May. Guaranteed. Ah, I see it going down. Sorry. Wonderful. Thank you, Miss Joyce.
This is a team effort.
I like it when I have my teammate here. Joyce and I have become very attached to each other. And Katie too. We're
Yes,
all
and
very attached.
normally we leave our phones up at the front of the building, but we brought them back here today for some reason, and they're just...
We want you to experience the phones as we experience the phones, which is pretty constant ringing. And we're so thankful for it.
We
Oh,
are.
there it is again.
It is.
Okay.
You get
Thank
the
you.
idea.
Okay, so this is the big, well, those two would be the same. We don't want that. So here and then one more different one. Another.
That's the same as that one, but.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
You
well,
guys
you'll get
will
the idea. You'll get the idea.
Here.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, zoom out.
okay, so now we're going to zoom out, but you have to come back because of the mic.
Okay,
The mic
yes.
doesn't like it when we're far away. I know. Okay, so now this is my top row. So these 4 are going to be where these 4 are. So here, 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 and here. And then I need to know what my second row is, because let me pull my block down now that we see where it is. So I need to place 2 rows at a time. And then once I kind of get started, it's just going to keep falling. I'm only going to have to think about what the next row is. So I put this together, and then this guy is going to have one of this fabric and one of this fabric. So here, this guy would have this fabric and this fabric. Make sense? And then this guy would have this fabric and this fabric. This guy would have fabric and this fabric. So if you think about it that way, you can work with smaller segments. I would probably go ahead and cut my curves so I could at least have the right shape, but I would not lay out the whole thing. I would do it a row at a time and then just keep letting it build as you go down. So that's how we would do it if we were doing it with the layer cakes and with Kate, and we were using the So Kind of Wonderful ruler. Now, Joyce has a little invention.
Yes, I
Oh, right.
myself.
Yeah, actually, she has her favorite tool, which you can only guess what that is.
Oh, that's right.
It's called the AccuQuilt.
Yes.
And what's so cool about the AccuQuilt's version of this particular shape is that instead of this shape being comprised of 4 pieces, 1 piece. So it's super duper cool. So Miss Joyce is bringing her stuff over here.
Yes. So I have, should I cut one out or not? I already have
I don't
this
think you
one.
need to cut them out
But
because
let
you
me
already
just show
have. They
you.
know how to cut.
Oh, sorry, Katie. I'm like running.
It's good. Well, I'm trying to be really close, because you talk quieter.
I do. I'll try to project my voice. So here is the AccuQuilt cutter right here. So again, for those
Oh,
of you
cut
who are,
one. Why not? It's so fun.
sure, it is pretty fun. So for these, you saw Kathy cutting them out yesterday, you know, making sure, and then you're going to get your 4 pieces to put it together. So with the AccuQuilt cutter, here's your little machine, and then here is the clamshell die.
So look, it's 1 piece. It's 1 piece.
All one. And so these layer cakes, do you want me to use the cape, or do you want me to use what you had cut already from that one?
Do you have more of your fabric?
not with me. I didn't know I was doing this today.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, I always throw Joyce a curveball because I told her she would be on Wednesday. But I thought it made more sense with this particular project to show her technique as well. Because with mine, you need to do a lot of pre-planning. You need to figure out where you're going to put your pieces, and you need to keep track of them because you have to get all 4 blocks to match up. Choices, because her block is made from a single cut. Look at that. She does the whole thing.
There it is.
It's so easy for her to lay it out. And also, this is a new fabric collection we were going to show tomorrow too.
Pretty.
I'm so
Sneak peek.
sneak peek. But this is a new mulberry and green.
And this is just a few of the
It
pieces.
just showed up this week, and it's absolutely beautiful.
It is.
Here's some of the pieces. There we go.
They have some gorgeous pieces
Yes,
in that
very
line. I just
beautiful.
picked a couple because I was playing with it.
So a layer cake will cut on her big die.
Yep, so see how it fits perfectly on that die? And I'm just going to put the mat over it. And how many layers, ladies?
6! 6 at a
So
time.
if you try to cut 6 clamshells at a time with a rotary cutter, it's just, it would take you
Well, you
much
guys saw
longer.
how hard it was for me to cut it yesterday. I don't know what was happening
That
with
was
me,
the
but
rotary
I did not do good cutting yesterday.
Wasn't you. All right, so here I've cut it like magic. Look at that. Now we have, so you could have cut 6 of these at a time. And let's look at how, what else is so beautiful about this particular die. So curved piecing is a challenge to some, but Kathy has made it more simple, right? And so she's actually going to be sewing one of these today.
Yes,
Yeah.
Joyce is going to make me be the seamstress again.
So, but look at this. There are notches already on here. So when you cut this out, you have your, they call them like registration points. So you have a notch here, here, and here. So you have all the places that is just going to fit because it is cut out perfectly. When you are cutting with the AccuQuilt cutter, especially for this particular die, dies that have a lot of bias going on with them, remember to make sure that you have this label. It's either going to be towards you or away from you. In other words, that label is going to be going through the machine, facing you or away from you, so this way. And what that means is when you lay your fabric on here, that straight grain is towards the label, okay? And that's going to put the bias in just the right places. That's going to give you the perfect cut. That's going to make it behave perfectly when Kathy sews it together, right? We want to set her up for success.
Yes.
So let me move this out of the way because I can. Look how portable that is. We actually had an AccuQuilt go out today, and you know who you are. Thank you very much. But I think you're going to love it. You saw how easy that was. So I'm just going to put this away. It's very
Goes away.
portable. So there it is. All right.
And we won't have to do any squaring up with this after the fact, is that
No,
right?
That's right. The only squaring up you're going to want to have to do is you're going to have to trim the outer borders because you keep having the scallops going on. So you'll just have to, trim it up and make it straight around the edges. So I have somewhere, here it is. So here is an example. Look how fast this is. We're just
Yeah, change the studio.
change. Okay, I've already sewn the top layer. Okay, don't judge me because I laid 6 layers at a time and I cut this one upside down, the word. So
Oh,
don't
no.
judge me. Kiddo.
Oh.
But look how cool that is.
Look how flat that is. And I used one pen. I didn't even have to use the pen. I could have just used my fuse tweezers, but we won't talk about that.
We can't get them.
I know. So you can still see that we have our registration mark. So what you have to do with any clamshell quilt, you have to build a base. So you have to start at the top because you have to be able to start fitting these clamshells in. So you have to have a place to start. So what you do is, let me get 2 more. Let's see.
They're right here.
Thank you. Yeah, let's just take 2 more so they can see. All right.
And this is just the clamshell die, is that right?
Yes, so this is the larger of the 2, and let me tell you, so you know that those layer cakes, they work really well with this particular die. So we look at how cute it is. It's so cute. So this one I think is a 4-inch finished. What a great way to use your scraps. Look what fits on there perfectly. If you have the same cape, you can use the charm squares.
Yep.
It fits perfectly on there, so you can make matchy.
Fun.
Yep.
Very
All right.
fun.
So that's that. Okay, so when we are building the top part of this, what we do is we need to just sew, you don't have to sew a whole thing. You're just going to sew about an inch up. So what we're going to do is we're going to put them right sides together. Would you give me that 6.5-inch ruler, Kathy, please? This is really simple and non-scientific. So you're just going to go about 1/4 inch in, just like that. See that 1/4 inch mark? And just draw a straight line up. And then what happens is now you have this foundation. You can see it actually right here. That's all I did. Just a line straight up like that. Boom. And then you're going to press those seams open. Now you have your foundation to start adding your clamshells. And like Kathy said, it's for you to kind of plan out how you want to do these clamshells. It's so fun when they're already cut out, right?
It's so much easier to
Yeah.
lay out and see where they're going when you have the pieces already ready to go. I hate to give AccuQuilt the A+ again, but I think it does. I think it wins again.
It's a cool system.
It's a cool system, and it makes this particular project so easy to lay out.
When you're on, right?
Yes.
You're on. Okay, so just what I recommend is, once you have it all laid out, you can't, you can't like sew a whole row together, and then join your rows. You have to add each piece in individually. So that's why it's good to have it planned out ahead of time. So if this were going to be my row, then I would just like stack them up and then say there's row 2 or row 1 and then have your next one and just work through it that way. So it's repetition now. Once we have our top done, which was super simple, you didn't have to do it.
I didn't.
You
I like it when you do my
easy.
sewing for me.
So, and I sewed in this one first, and then I couldn't stop myself because it was kind of fun. So then I put in another one, and I thought I better save some for Kathy. So which one should we put in next? You want to put a
Probably
green
that.
one?
Yes,
That
I
one?
think that. Or you have. Yeah, that's probably your next best.
Yeah, I only pulled a couple. So
Right.
We could do the light green too if you want.
Or this one. You tell. Which do I like the dark?
You guys
I think
like the dark
is better.
one? Dark is next.
All right, dark wins.
All right. So now, this is what you need to know. We're going to, I'm going to turn this upside down so you can see this. All right, we're going to put it right in here. And so you can see that we're going to, I don't know if that was a good example or not. We're going to join the edge, right? And sew it this way. And Kathy, you like the L down, right?
I do like the L down.
So here's just one tip I read about online. When you are joining these, let me move this over here. Let me show you from the back. Do you see how the seam line comes right in here? That's where the start. So if, as you join your clamshells, you start right on that seam line, the previous seam line, and you go down about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch before you start peeling off. Don't worry if you're not at 1/4 of an inch with your foot exactly there. Start on that seam line,
It's
and
going to
then
give you a perfect point, isn't it?
it will give you a perfect point every
Right,
time, consistent
right.
through your whole quilt. So that was a really good tip. So that would be the only, I guess.
I think I
option.
can see it from. I think I can still
Yeah.
feel it.
So let's show you what else is wonderful about this. So fun. All right. Remember I told you about those registrations? Should I turn it upside the other way so they can see? All right. When Kathy sews this in, thank you. I need to be an octopus.
Yeah.
All right, look how, see, when she starts sewing this in, this first one is her first marker because she's going to,
It's going to be upside down though.
yeah, it'll be upside down, but edge to edge, right? She's going to have this dart to that, not a dart, it's a
It's a dart. I mean, it's like a dart marker. It's a marker.
It's a registration mark.
Registration mark.
What she
Yeah,
said.
that's right.
One here to here. This middle one is going to go right at your seam. This one is going to go there, and again we have the end. And as you add the next ones, they're already there. So really, as you're sewing curves, you only pay. You've heard Kathy say this many times, but you're only paying attention to what's on your needle at the time. So you know that you're starting here. Your edges need to be even, right? Then you know your next part that you're gonna look at is this next registration mark. So once you get there, then you know your next one is going to be up here at the seam line. That's all you need to focus, and then before you know it, your clamshell's in place. All right, Kathy, are you ready to start
I'm
the
ready to
challenge?
do it. Let's do
All
it.
right.
I haven't done one of these yet, so we know how that goes when I haven't done one. Joyce brought this in. I was like, "That's so cool." And she's like, "Yeah, you're gonna sew one. You'll see."
Here
how
we
cool it
go.
is."
You're
I'm
the
like,
sewer. You're the
she's
sewer.
like, "I'm the designated sewer of the two of us. She's the teacher. I'm the sewer." Okay, so back like with any of our other curved piecing, here's how it sets in order to stitch it together, I've got to put right sides together. And so I would actually end up sewing it this way.
That's right. That's
Okay,
right.
instead of from here to there.
Yes, it's going to be right
Okay.
to left.
Okay, so yeah, so I would start here because I like to leave my L on the bottom, and I'm going to just pivot myself around. And you can see I'm not worrying about, whoops, where everything is landing.
Oh, notches.
Yes.
That's a good word. Thank you, Marilyn.
Yeah.
We need you all.
We need you because we can't
do it
speak.
without you.
We become verbally impaired when we try and teach
Yes,
you,
our
and so
brains become
yes,
fried by the end of the
yes.
day, by 3
Okay,
o'clock.
so all I'm going to do to start is just always take those couple of stitches. So I'm just lining up this corner so I'm really squared up. There's my underneath fabric right there. All right, so I'm just giving myself a nice square corner. We turned our lights off so you can see. So it's dark under there.
So Kathy can't see.
I can't see, but you guys can
That's
see.
her excuse if she's not right.
That's
on
right.
this 'cause she can't see.
That's right. Then I'm going to just take a couple stitches to get myself started, and I use the needle to hold my fabric in position. Then I'm going to find my next notches here, and here's a notch. So I'm going to just bring those two together and line them up. And then I'm going to pull my fabric underneath so that it just lines up square. And you don't want to push any fullness into that or any pleats into it. So I'm just smoothing out my bottom layer. And now see how I have a straight line again. So I'm going to sew straight.
And yes,
And I'm holding my pen, my finger is my pen.
Yes.
I'm holding it to that notch.
They match up pretty sweet, don't they?
It does look good. I can't wait to see if I did it right.
How do you keep from stretching them when you're sewing?
I'm not pulling, I'm just keeping things straight. I'm laying it down and letting them merge together as opposed to pulling or stretching. I'm not doing any pulling or stretching.
Because they're cut out
I'm just-
perfectly.
They're cut so accurately.
I'm just putting it into position. So I'm taking that notch
Does
and
it
putting
match
it
the
right.
seam?
Yep, right to the
Isn't that
seam.
exciting?
It's very exciting. And whenever you finish an area, then you can start thinking about the next part you're pulling into position. Oh, put my needle down. It would be nice to have, I need my pivot, or let me use my, it's very dark. It's hard to see with this
And the dark fabric?
The dark fabric in the dark. It's, I
Maybe
think
we
I'm
should
doing
pick a
this
lighter
right.
green.
So then let me pull this notch.
Do we know
in
how much
here.
the dyes cost?
Yes. So this one that Kathy is working on is the 8-inch clamshell. It's $49.99.
$49.99.
The cute baby one is $29.99.
$29.99 for the little sister.
Yes. Do you want a pin for the very bottom?
I think I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because she's a professional.
I'm a professional. And then I'm feeling where that 1/4 inch, when she is talking about starting, where the 1/4 inch is, I'm just coming right, I can feel that seam right in there. All right, I'm curious how I did.
Did your edges all match?
They did.
Oh my goodness, because
Because it's perfectly cut.
Yes.
yes.
Look at that,
Look at
ladies and
that.
gentlemen.
Sweet.
Wow.
All right,
There you
let's
go.
give
Let's
it
give it a press.
Let's
Yes.
give it a press.
So, but look at that. That is so nice. So on these clam shells, they recommend that you press towards your shell because that will give you, so you can have visibility to this area right here. And so you know how to attach, where and how to attach the next one. Of course, oh, I don't have my spinner because it's on the other.
it's under here. So sorry.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
need your spinner? Here.
Oh, I'm just sliding it around, but here, yes.
I know how much happy you are this way.
I do because we can't,
Now
that's what it's
she's
made for.
happy.
Look at this. Okay. So we're just going to give it a press, press, press. Look at that. Look how nice and flat that is.
So, Teresa Lennon wants to know if AccuQuilt works with non-AccuQuilt patterns.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the whole thing. You know, you don't get an AccuQuilt cutter just to cut the patterns that they have, because they have a million zillion, and you may run out though still. But you want it. You got it as your cutting system, right? So you want to be able to adapt the patterns that you have with the AccuQuilt system, and we've done that over and over
Yeah,
again.
actually, one of the year-long programs that Joyce had was how to take a traditional quilt pattern that was a sampler, and then they converted every month into the AccuQuilt system. So they did all their cutting with AccuQuilt, but it was a traditional pattern.
And they did a
So-
beautiful job, those ladies. Knocked
We
my
actually had a
socks off.
competition with that one, didn't we?
Well, the
Didn't we
first
do
year
it?
with the 72 blocks, we had a viewer's choice.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, this was not a little quilt. The ladies did these enormous, they were like king-size quilts
beautiful.
with it. They did a beautiful, beautiful job. But look, ladies, look at this. Look how
I did it.
perfectly, and all of her edges meet. And no pins. No pins.
No pens. No,
Just
it is-
notches.
It is
Yes.
slower. I mean, you definitely, when you're doing curves,
You're driving around a curve, Kathy.
It's true, you're driving around a curve. It's true. You cannot do pedal to the metal. And
No.
if you guys saw me strip piece, you would know this is a very different pace for me. But I love it because one curve gives so much visual interest that you don't need a
Yes.
lot of piecing for your block to be really, really cool.
Well, and this is a block.
Yeah, exactly. One
is
seam
one
is your block.
block. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
It's pretty gratifying.
So now what are we going to do tomorrow, Joyce? Because I took your class tomorrow
It's
and we
a
did it today.
secret. I know. It's a secret.
We might have to do a tour tomorrow because we've gotten some new fabric in that's really pretty. We got the blue, the China blue is
Yeah, we
in.
did.
We got
did.
Constance back in.
We did.
And we've got this beautiful mulberry collection. We have,
It-
let's
this
see.
is
Let's see
so
what we do for
pretty.
you tomorrow.
Always a surprise.
Yeah, that's what we do. All right, well, we love you guys. I hear just a little update on the opening. May 12th is the current retail opening date, but we are thinking we probably won't still do a big reopening. We're really evaluating. We want to keep everybody safe. We want to keep our environment clean. We don't want to lose the ground that we've made, but we are
Right.
definitely on our way, and we've survived a month. And really quite nicely. I hope you guys are doing well. We love hearing from you. We love our phone ringing off the hook. It makes us very happy and feel very loved. So we will see you tomorrow.